The Lord be with you. I'm Deacon Keith Fournier, and our first reading is from the letter of the Apostle Paul to the Romans. So then, my brothers, we have no obligation to human nature to be dominated by it. If you do live in that way, you are doomed to die. But if by the Spirit you put to death the habits originating in the body, you will have life. All who are guided by the Spirit of God are sons of God. For what you received was not the spirit of slavery to bring you back into fear. You received the spirit of adoption, enabling us to cry out, Abba, Father. The Spirit Himself joins with our spirit to bear witness that we are children of God. And if we are children, then we are heirs, heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ, provided that we share His suffering so as to share His glory. And our response is from Psalm 68. You disperse them like smoke. As wax melts in the presence of a fire, so the wicked melt at the presence of God. Sing to God, play music to His name. Build a road for the rider of the clouds. Rejoice in Yahweh, dance before Him. God gives the lonely a home to live in, leads prisoners out into prosperity, but rebels must live in the bare wasteland. God, when you set out at the head of your people, when you strode over the desert, this God of ours is a God who saves. From Lord Yahweh comes escape from death. But God smashes the head of His enemies, the long-haired skull of the prowling criminal. And a reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke. One Sabbath day, Jesus was teaching in one of the synagogues, and there before Him was a woman who for 18 years had been possessed by a spirit that crippled her. She was bent double and quite unable to stand upright. When Jesus saw her, He called her over and said, Woman, you are freed from your disability. And He laid His hands on her, and at once she straightened up, and she glorified God. But the president of the synagogue was indignant because Jesus had healed on the Sabbath. And he addressed all those present, saying, There are 6 days when work is to be done. Come and be healed on one of those days, and not on the Sabbath. But the Lord answered him and said, Hypocrites, is there one of you who does not untie his ox or his donkey from the manger on the Sabbath and take it out for watering? And this woman, a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan has held bound these 18 years, was it not right to untie this bond on the Sabbath day? When He said this, all His adversaries were covered with confusion, and all the people were overjoyed at all the wonders He worked. The Gospel of the Lord.